well, maybe not the most exciting game of football today against Manchester City, but it had its moments. I think the first half, Manchester City completely dominant. Arsenal finding their footing, good defensively as they always have been this season. And then the second half, I think they sort of came out of that shell a little more. A couple substitutions. We looked dangerous. Some pretty decent chances to score as well, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, couldn't put them away. I wonder if the 2 weeks off was beneficial or detrimental to Arsenal. Obviously, nobody played an international break. A lot of players were off, friendlies or qualifying. But I think overall, the way we played it, it wasn't with the sort of swagger and light-footedness that you see with a lot of players like Odegaard. I think, for example, Saka, the last couple of games has been stellar. I think maybe he was substituted. Mikel came out himself and said it was more fatigue, nothing really to worry about. I think we missed Martinelli today. Gabriel Jesus on the wing really wasn't doing it. It wasn't doing it for me. Havertz was pretty isolated. And, of course, Manchester City at home just dominated as they do. And I think coming away with a point, coming away this season with 4 points against City is improvement. You look back at the season that Leicester won. We beat them twice, and they still finished, I think, 8 points above us to clinch the title. So you look for improvement and progression. City have had 2 shots on target each, in 2 games that they played Arsenal this season. What last year was 4-4-1, 5-1. 11 months ago, it's a totally different story. This is another quote from Mikel, and he's built something very, very special here. It's impossible to ignore at this point. The players he's brought in, seeing Gabriel and Haaland, by the way, going at it. It's one of the only things that Anthony Taylor sort of let keep happening. Just 2 big guys, 1 big defender, 1 solid attacker going at it. Of course, Saliba had his fair share of duels with him as well, but you saw a lot of chirping between the two. Of course, the handshake at the end of the game was fantastic to see. Really, really nice, because you can leave it all on the field, and that's the kind of refereeing that you need. A lot of the things Taylor was whistling for were just nonsense. Of course, a very, very difficult job refereeing, especially at this level, the highest level in the world. The standards are, if you asked your average fan, I think they'd probably say, not up to the standards they could be. But again, it's special, these types of players that you look at the starting 11 and you look at the bench and you think there are a few people that could be there. I thought maybe Trossard deserved a start ahead of Gabriel Jesus. There's thinking that obviously goes into the manager's head when it comes to things like that, but I thought he deserved it, given his the way he's been playing over the past couple games, that is. Havertz, I think, well deserved to be starting up front. And everyone else, you look at Tomiyasu on the bench, Thomas Partey getting back to fitness. Of course, Timber is yet to come back and feature since he's been out. So you have this culture at the club that he's built. And these players are truly fighting for him and fighting for the club. And this is a kind of a long explanation of what I'm trying to get out. But the way Gabriel was sticking up for himself and sticking up for his teammates, it was really, really nice to see, refreshing to see. And of course, what better player to test your defensive abilities than Erling Haaland himself, maybe best goal scorer in the world. So, that's enough about Gabriel. Saliba today, man of the match. Maybe if it wasn't given to Declan Rice, although I think Saliba did get it. A man of the match performance at Anfield, at the Etihad today. First in duels, first in possession won, successful passes and tackles, and the most touches today for Arsenal. So that tells you obviously what the game plan was. Of course, you're not going to go to City and score. I had a prediction of 2-0, which was probably way over the top, but confident, very rested team. The way we've been playing, you never know, right? I mean, I think we held City today to not scoring a goal for something like 35 games. I think that's way off, but so yeah, I mean, just imagine if he hadn't gotten injured last year. And I try not to play the what ifs too much, but again, it's a very, very important question. It's almost a painful question to ask. Yeah, Luton are up next. I think, again, like I said before in the beginning of the video, 4 points off of the champions is improvement, and it's also quite good at Liverpool as well, 4 points off of Liverpool as well. So it's a very, very tight title race. Liverpool clearly, I think the favorites. You look at the XG, the percentage of the chances of teams winning the league is Liverpool at 42, City are at 31%, and Arsenal at 27%. So it doesn't quite tell you the whole story, of course, just looking at something like that, but it does show you how far Arteta has been able to take this club. And everyone, behind the scenes, players, of course, extremely, extremely monumental in all of that, building a culture and all that stuff. So look, Luton are up next. And if we're being totally honest, from this point on, 9 games left in the season, all winnable games. Of course, you have Spurs away, United away are going to be difficult, obviously. But, you start with Luton, you get the ball back rolling, get back to the wins. City, very, very difficult, tested themselves. Best defense in the world. That center back pairing is the best in the world, and they showed it again. Erling Haaland didn't have a sniff, no goals, 2 shots on target the entire year that they've played Arsenal. So incredible stuff, but we cannot get complacent. Bayern Munich are no joke. This is a team with a massive presence in Europe. Arsenal's still building theirs, yet not near that level that Bayern have. It's a different team in Europe, the Champions League, of course. Completely different feeling. We have a lot of people who a lot of players, young players who don't have that experience. And while Kane, former Tottenham player, of course, is going to be a threat no matter what team he's on, and he's playing against Arsenal. So it's going to be a very, very difficult night. I think that, playing at home is going to be a fantastic start to the 2 legs. So I think Arsenal definitely capable of getting a result. If you watch the Dortmund-Bayern game, you could tell they're all over the place. The manager's lost his head. It never seemed like a good move to me, but I won't get in the rant. So I'm just going to end it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you made it this far, do really appreciate it, and I will see you when I see you.